Why would you do that?
We're in the endgame now.
What is good, YouTube? Warstu here. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel or DC or pop culture based videos. So before we get into this video, I'm hearing some reliable rumors that's coming out saying that Marvel are only going to be showing you the first 15 minutes of the movie in any of the trailers to avoid spoilers. Do you think this is true? Do you think they can have all multiple trailers promoting the movie without really showing you that much? I was told this rumor, and to me, I don't think this is true, because generally the second trailer is where we find out a lot of context. So if the second trailer comes out in February, when I believe it's coming out, and we don't get much new footage, it's going to be really weird. Although they did say they were marketing this movie very, very differently, which they haven't done so far except for trollers, or supposedly trollers, but they made a big deal about the Avengers title, and then they basically lied to everyone, so can you trust anything the Russo brothers say? So still the most popular comment I'm getting in my DMs is, who will save Tony Stark? Of course Tony Stark won't die, but realistically he could die. So the most logical person to save Tony Stark would be Captain Marvel, because obviously the Captain Marvel movie is coming out in March, and she needs to be introduced into Avengers 4 somehow. But I don't really think that's going to happen, guys, because that's just so damn obvious. So let's go over what's more unlikely to happen. So make sure to listen to the whole video before you comment. So let's break this down. So no one will save Tony Stark, because Tony Stark will save Tony Stark, because it's going to go full circle back to Iron Man 1, when Tony Stark saved himself by creating what now is Iron Man. So if you can't remember Iron Man 1, Iron Man is a billionaire industrialist, a genius inventor. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., is conducting weapon tests overseas, but terrorists kidnap him and force him to build a devastating weapon. But instead he builds an armored suit and returns to America. Stark refines the suit and uses it to combat crime and terrorism. Hence, why is Tony Stark, aka Iron Man? Why am I bringing this up? Because during Avengers 4, it's a parallel scene to Iron Man. It's an extreme setting. This is obviously an even more extreme setting because he's in space, he's nearly out of oxygen, and he's out of food because Thor took all his food. So in the opening scene of the trailer, it says this. So Tony is sending a goodbye message to Pepper, almost like he is accepting that he's going to die. And quite frankly, I think he could die, but I don't really think they're going to do that. So, hey, Miss Potts, if you find this recording, don't feel bad about this. Part of the journey is the end. Just for the record, being adrift in space with zero promise of rescue is more fun than it sounds. Food and water ran out 4 days ago. Oxygen will run out tomorrow morning, and that be it. When I drift off, I would dream about you. It's always you. So this is kind of sentimental, and everyone's picked up on the line, obviously rescue, and then obviously we've had the rescue suit leak. We've seen it, we've seen the artwork, we've seen Gwyneth Paltrow in the motion capture suit. So yes, at some point in the movie she will wear it. So the trailer wants you to believe Tony will die, or someone will believe him. But honestly, I think Tony saving himself will be the most likely option. There's one shot during the trailer where we see Tony Stark and he looks like he's flying the Benatar. I've not seen anyone else talk about this, or no one else really said this in the comment section. So it's quite interesting, because if you see this clip, right, we've got to go back a bit. So during Iron Man 3, Tony Stark had the arc reactor removed, but it's still embedded into his suit. But then in Avengers Infinity War, according to Entertainment Weekly, the reactor is actually just housing for Tony's suit, which will now form over and around him. And obviously in Avengers Infinity War, you know the scene when it's Ebony Maw, then he's like, Earth is closed, I believe you say, but don't quote me, I'm not paraphrasing. And then the suit just forms around him. So I think that's a pretty interesting point to bring up. So during the time in the Benatar, Tony will create a device in order to save himself. So according to a recent Reddit post, which is kind of interesting, it's kind of backing up what I'm going to say about Tony saving himself. So I will link it down below if I can find it again. So basically what it says is Rocket has a tool to repair some damaged parts of the ship. The image also features an old tweet from Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn, who explains that the equipment stores the design of a spacecraft in its memory, comparing the device to an incredible 3D printer. From this, the Redditor suggests that perhaps Tony just finds one of these in a drawer or something, and they will use it to get the Benatar ship up and running. The only issue I have with this is Tony Stark is a borderline, no, he is a genius. So we don't know if the Benatar is out of fuel or if it's structural damage. So you can't just say the Rocket Raccoon's got a device on the ship lying around and he's magically gonna find it just before he's about to pass out from lack of oxygen, and we haven't seen the Benatar take any serious damage. So in this theory, in theory, Rocket could be the person to save Tony Stark without actually being there, but I can't really see Tony Stark using someone else's device to save himself. So what if Tony Stark actually dies in space, like they want you to believe? A recent theory is pretty interesting what the theory actually has to say. So it said this: let's say Tony dies in space. Hang on, he could return. So during the trailer, it makes sense that Steve would team up with Scott in order to go into the quantum realm by using the time vortex. They could go to the moment before Civil War. By doing this, the Avengers will be united, and also they can recreate Ultron in order to protect Earth. The line from Age of Ultron has made me think a lot when Steve says, "Tony, that you could have saved us," you know, in that dream. Pretty interesting. I know it's a crazy theory. As Iron Man fan for ages, I would hate to see Tony die, but the Russo said that Endgame is going to break your heart, which is interesting. So I do believe Tony's just going to save himself randomly, and they're just literally lying to us and editing the first trailer so cool that it makes it look like he's going to die. So also, during the trailer, essentially, after all the Tony Stark scenes, you know, the bit in space, it's essentially dedicated to Captain America and Black Widow. At one point, we see the pair of them talking about their plans in a cargo area that looks like the Quinjet. Note that he's got the Winter Soldier outfit on. Even Steve Rogers goes to the length to say if their plan plays out in their favour, he's not sure what he'll do. Could their plans be to fly the Quinjet into space in order to find Stark? We know the Quinjets were tested for space. After all, the Hulk flew one into space at the end of Age of Ultron. Then he appeared years later in Sakaar in Thor 3. Or could they go back in time with Scott Lang in order to save Tony Stark that way? So in theory, Tony Stark could die without ever actually dying. So I said this on a video about a week ago that Captain Marvel will be the most likely candidate to save Tony Stark, but I don't really feel they'd do that because it would undermine him. But Brie Larson is going to be the face of Phase 4. So what better way to introduce her than have her save the golden boy Tony Stark? We know she can fly from the second Captain Marvel trailer. We know she has cosmic awareness. If it's a real spaceship that Tony Stark is stuck on, he could have sent a distress call out. We previously said on a different video in much greater detail, I will link it right now over the screen, of many different ways of why and how she could get from obviously the Kree homeland Hala in order to save him. So the other popular theory, which I don't really like, is that Pepper Potts is going to save Tony. Because you remember the conversation? So basically when he went to the ship that ended up in Titan, he was talking to Pepper and the rescue suit with no chance, zero chance of being rescued. Now we know she's going to be in the motion capture suit because there's images appeared online. She said in an interview on TV that she was in a costume with loads of balls on it, and the person that was interviewing her said, yeah, that's a motion capture suit. So we know at some point in the movie she's going to be wearing that suit just like she did in Iron Man 3. So who is going to save Tony Stark? Tony Stark is going to save Tony Stark. And also another factor that you could factor in is Nebula is supposedly still on the Benatar with him. Maybe he could use some parts of her, because essentially she's a robot, but I guess you call that an android. She's more of an android. Maybe he could build something from her body parts without destroying her android being, and that is how the Benatar gets to moving again. The only problem here is we are predicting too much, because they've not really made it clear why he's stuck in space. He just says they ran out of food and tomorrow morning we'll run out of oxygen. They've not said that, they ran out of fuel? Did they run out of food? We know they ran out of food. We know they're about to run out of oxygen. But is it a structural damage to the Benatar, or is it just the fact that they've run out of fuel? But it's going to be very interesting to find out who saves Tony Stark, and I really hope Tony Stark saves Tony Stark. But like I said, it would be a very good opportunity to introduce Captain Marvel to the MCU, but we know she's going to get her own movie that's coming out in literally 3 months. I can't wait to go and see it. But obviously, whenever she appears in Avengers for Avengers EndGame, it's going to be quite dramatic because it's going to be the first time you see her appear. And obviously, Nick Fury called her up for a message. So guys, let me know down below. Do you think that Tony Stark will actually save Tony Stark? Do you think this new Reddit concept of Rocket having a tool that could essentially repair the Benatar? I mean, it would make sense that there would be a tool to repair the spaceship. Because after all, Tony Stark is genius, he's an engineer and everything, but he ain't a spaceship engineer to my knowledge. He can create suits, but I don't really think he's an expert when it comes to spaceships. Pretty sure. Don't paraphrase me, but guys, let me know all your comments down below. And my voice does sound a bit weird because I've kind of got an illness at the moment. That is why I've not been producing as much content. But we will be giving away the 50,000 subscriber giveaway, the Hasbro Infinity Gauntlet. We're going to get away on New Year's Eve, and then I'll send it out after New Year's Eve. So all you got to do for that is follow me on Twitter at Warstu and let me know that you follow me. Also, we do give away the Blu-rays. All you got to do is follow me on this channel. Comment down below who is your favorite superhero. No, scrap that. Comment down below who is going to save Tony Stark, and I will be announcing the next winner for that on tomorrow's video. I've got a backlist of Avenger EndGame's video on a kind of list that I make when I make my videos. So I've got a bunch of videos to go through, which I am quite far behind because I've been a bit ill, so I've not been able to record as much. So guys, if you do have any requested videos, just put your ideas down below or hit me up at Warstu on Twitter, at Warstu on Instagram, or email me on my business email, which is warstubusiness@gmail.com. And that'd be awesome. So I just want to thank everyone that supported this channel throughout the whole year. We started the year on 5,000 subscribers, and now we're close to 60,000, which is absolutely fantastic. I started the year doing more DC content, but now we're doing more Marvel content. But hopefully in 2019, I can make it Marvel, DC, and pop culture, as I do want to reach out to other categories, specifically Detective Pikachu and the Sonic movie, as them videos are popping. And them videos are cool. Detective Pikachu is gonna be as big as the MCU when they make the Pokemon universe, which is gonna be awesome. That's a Warner Brothers movie, which is gonna be so cool. So like I said, guys, all the comments down below, let me know if you got to the end of the video by typing I am Team Warstu. Comment that down below and I will know that you got to the end of the video. So I tried to comment back to every single person if I can, negative or positive. I will try and comment back to you if I have time. Anyway guys, I will catch you in another video. Catch ya later.